Histories, a little bit of South Carolina history. I'm gonna sing some songs. I'm not gonna give y'all titles too. I'm just gonna sing. I am also gonna say some lines that I want y'all to really think about and see if y'all can get it. So here we go. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Well. People like to ask me, where did Gullah come from? Do anybody in this audience know where Gullah came from? Well, it came over from a continent over in Africa. The continent is called Angola. Angola, they took off the N and then they used the word Gola. Then they took it from Gola to Gullah. Then the next question would be, where did Kichi come from? Anybody in the audience from Georgia? Y'all know where Kichi came from? Not a clue? What part of Georgia y'all from? Huh? Yeah, he knows. So why do you say no? He ain't know. He just trying to guess. That did come from the Ogeechee River over near Savannah. They took off the O and they only used the word Geechee. So a lot of people in Georgia were known as the Geech or the Geechee. Why was that? I'm going to explain that to you. So, for instance, what's your name? The lady. Me? Yeah. Tammy. Tammy's going to be my maple tan fake mother today. Tammy was dropped off in Georgia, and I was dropped off in South Carolina. But Tammy is known as a Geech or Geechee, and I'm known as a Gullah. If she is my mother, how come she's totally something different from me? Huh? Huh? The word starts with an L. Location. Because of the locations we were dropped off, we were labeled as something totally different from what we are. But in the early 2000s, what they did was they took the two words and they said, why are we labeling them as two different things when they are the same people? So they took Gullah Geechee and put them together. Now, on one ship, how many languages y'all think was on one ship? How much?
There were several, because there was different languages for every tribe.
Hundreds of languages. It was over 100 of languages on one ship. So what I wanted y'all to do is raise your hand if y'all know 5 languages. Nobody? 4. 3? 2? All right, everybody who got a 1, don't raise your hand, but I'm gonna give y'all 1. If y'all can speak Espanol, get Espanol. That means I can speak very little Spanish. And I mix a little with English, we're gonna call it Spanglish. How about that? Y'all can speak a little Spanglish, we'll give y'all 2. But Gullah Geechee, in the womb, when I was in the womb, the first language that I heard was Gullah Geechee. My granny said, go in that kitchen, give me that towel there. Go in the what and get you the what? And I would look at him kind of strangely because I knew what he was saying, but he had to break it down or slow it down for me to understand. So I had to slow it down in my mind, but his granddaddy wasn't slowing down nothing. And I tell you to go in that thing and give me that towel there. Where do you want me to go? But that's how he spoke, and that's how, till the time he died, about 10 years ago, he still spoke that. If you was to knock on his door, he would say, who come here? Where you come here for? Who invite you? Ain't nobody invite you. Where you going here for? And you look at him and say, Granddaddy, it's me. Oh, hey, yeah, we didn't do yet. And that's how he spoke. He spoke the whole time. When my kids were coming up and they would just tease him and be like, Granddaddy really speak that language. Well, when I was in grade school, the first thing they told me was, I need a speech therapy. I look at that teacher and say, I ain't going, you can't make me go. She told me again, she said, you really need speech therapy. I look at her again and I said, well, ma'am, I really don't need to go, but this is my first language and this is what my grandfather taught me how to speak. She looked at me and she said, great-grand folks would say. Y'all ready to listen? You ready to understand what I'm saying? You sure you ready? All right, here it is. Time out. Y'all going to jail. Listen to it very carefully. Time out. Time out.
Shut your mouth.
Shut your mouth. Be quiet. Hush. Anybody want to hear that? Hush. Are you ready for the next one? Iron cracker tail day. Okay, so I'm lying to y'all, but here it is. Iron cracker tail day.
Oh my God.
She said, "No, again." You said, "Oh my God." No, that's not what I said, but here it is. What I said is, I haven't cracked my teeth all day. Iron cracker tail day. I haven't cracked my teeth all day means I haven't spoke all day. I haven't said a word all day. I talked to all of y'all when y'all walked in here. And if I didn't talk to y'all, because y'all still walking in here, but I'm still talking to y'all. Right? All right, here's the next one. The eye long.
Get along.
I hope we do. Huh? I hope you do. The eye long. No. Yeah, the eye long. Y'all ready for the answer?
Yeah.
I said the eye long. E-I long. That means a greedy person. So back in the day, y'all know my grandma would cook cakes, or she would bake something every holiday. And one of her favorite cakes was a rum cake. If y'all know anything about rum cake, if you bake the cake, then you soak the rum, you have drunk the cake the next day. Well, she would cut us a split of a piece, and that's all we were supposed to get, right? So I go in there and say, "Grandma, I give me another piece of that cake." He said, "Don't make your eye long, you ain't get no more." She said, "Don't make your eye long, you're not getting any more." As soon as Frank closed the eye, you're gonna cut me another piece of them. When she wake up, I've been drunk and sleeping. Kumbaya, my Lord, kumbaya. Kumbaya, my Lord, kumbaya. Kumbaya, my Lord, kumbaya. Oh Lord, kumbaya. Somebody needs you, Lord, kumbaya. Somebody needs you, Lord, kumbaya. Somebody needs you, Lord, kumbaya. Oh Lord, kumbaya. Y'all didn't tell me what a kumbaya is?
Come by here, my
Somebody needs
Lord.
you, Lord, come by. That song sounds like a prayer to me. The predicament to be in. Now, did y'all know that kumbaya is a Charleston song? Y'all can fight me on this, but y'all can look it up too. But it's a Charleston song sung in these plantations here. It also was recorded here in Charleston. Now, I know it's nationwide because everybody know that song, because everybody ain't sing the song. I ain't no wrong with y'all. Y'all can't use your voice. But okay, that was my grandfather's favorite song. Every Sunday morning he would sing that song. Now, to this day, I know why he sung that song. As a little girl, I was like, why he sing that song every Sunday? Anybody want to say that? Ain't nobody want to hear that every Sunday. But it was his song, it was his favorite song. Now, there was a lady, and her nickname was Moses. Who is she?
Here's it.
Harriet Tubman. Y'all know she helped release over 300 slaves through the Underground Railroad. But two people on that plantation had to leave it. Y'all know who them was? The husband and the mistress. They were going with me. They didn't stop on the plantation. No, the place with me, You do me wrong, you spit. But through the Underground Railroad, we did not have maps and different things like we have today. We did not have cellular phones. We had to be very artistic, very brain oriented. And what we did was, instead of us having paper maps or a stone map, that was a heavy piece of equipment, we would actually make quilts, and quilts would get us through the Underground Railroad. And without quilts, different designs showed us the way to the next house, to a safe house, or to a safe place. Now, depending on how this quilt was laid out on the windowsill, which is, I don't have a windowsill today because it's rare, but on the windowsill, it will tell you this is a safe house, you can go, Here's the point to the next way to go. And it also had different designs. And I know mine is huge, but this is one of the log cabin patterns that they would use to get you through. And these colors on this, well, my colors are from today's fabric. Back then, fabric was not as bright and as colorful, but you get the gist. Each one of these colors would mean something, as into rice, as in beans, or anything like that to get you through the Underground Railroad. So they called it, they said that these quilts had its own kind of like Morse code to the system of the Underground Railroad. Now, they also would hide rice or bread or water or even something to get your mind right. Some of y'all that drink know what I'm talking about. Little backyard alcohol under these quilts to help you through your journey. Now, another way other than quilts that we had to get through the Underground Railroad, and I say we as my ancestors, you guys, was doing through our hair. Y'all ever heard of the process of cornrow? Y'all know what cornrows are? Y'all call them braids, we call them cornrows. Well, cornrows was another mat. This would be something to show the next person behind me, like here, if you can't find the house with the clothes on it, here's a map to show you where to go. I just have a bomb stylist. This is not actually one of the slave patterns. But that's another way of us getting through the Underground Railroad without Massa, him over there, knowing what we talking about, or how we getting through. Now, if you was to sing a song from Kansi to Kansi, did I lose y'all again? Listen, Kansi to Kansi. I'm saying it as fast as they would say it back in the day in the Gullah language. Kansi to Kansi. That means Kansi to Kansi, sun up to sundown. But they were singing the song as in wade in the water, this little light of mine, kumbaya. They were singing that song from sun up to sundown. The lady in the kitchen would go in the kitchen and she would take that leftover dough of bread or whatever she made for breakfast that morning, and she would make a certain kind of bread that you could even get at Captain Hughes. Hash puppy. Y'all didn't know? Hash puppy means the same thing as this. Hash puppy. It meant to hush the dough. The first thing they give y'all when y'all go to Charleston restaurants, some hush. You can hush y'all out. But hush puppy was a way of hushing the dogs. Hush puppy was also a way of us having a snack on our journey through the Underground Railroad and getting through what we were doing. Let's see. Well, I'm gonna sing now. Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. I ain't saying all the other parts. Now, there was another Moses that we need to talk about. Baby Moses. Anybody know the short version of it that don't mind saying it? Huh?
Set his people free.
Set his people free. Then you went where you're short. Well, I'm gonna say a little bit longer version. You don't mind, right? So Pharaoh wanted to kill all the firstborn boys. So Moses' mother put him inside of a bulrush basket and put him down in our river. Pharaoh's daughter found him, protected him, saved him. When he found out that he was a Jew and an Israelite, he freed those people. Did y'all get it all? Or did I say too fast? Well, here on Boone Hall Plantation, there was a lady here named Ida. Ida in 1930s was a free person, but she worked as a servant on this plantation. She got 5 cents a pound. How many of y'all made 5 cents a pound? Nobody? Well, she got 5 cents a pound, but she was the type of person where she didn't take a whole lot of arguments and stuff her way. So she argued back with the plantation owner. And he told her, you and your whole family get off of this plantation, don't ever come back. So Ida and her family left that day, not knowing how they were gonna make money. So Ida said, oh Lord, I done fastened. Master done put me up plantation because I ain't tired in my mouth. How's I gonna make money now? So Ida thought about it, and Ida thought about it, and Ida thought about it. And about 2 or 3 days later, Ida decided, you know what? I got some basket in there. Ida put her baskets on Highway 17. Now mind y'all, Highway 17 was the same as Boone Hall is today, a dirt road. She put a basket on Highway 17, and the first day, she made a sale. What's your name, ma'am? Yes.
Lori.
Laura?
Lori.
Lori? So Ida said, Lori, get up, put my basket on Highway 17, the first day to make a sale. You better put yours on there. Where to do?
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, you're gonna put your basket on Highway 17 is what she said. What's your name, sweetheart?
Yeah.
Pat. So Laurie said, Pat, me and Ida, we basket on 17 on that dot road. And them people that buy the basket off our stuff first day, we done put them on there. What you gonna do? So she's gonna sell her basket on Highway 17. What's your name, ma'am?
Karen.
So Karen, she said, y'all got we basket on Highway 17, and the first thing the people that buy a basket, you better put yours on there and see what I do.
Yes, ma'am.
So I said all of this is because Highway 17 became Sweetgrass Basket Highway just because a lady on this plantation did not want to vouch to Master, just giving her demands and doing things for him. Now, from Highway 17, which is Sweetgrass Basket Highway, to the city market, which is Slaves Market. Slaves Market, as in they were selling the goods there. Meats, vegetables, baskets, whatever they had, arts and craft, books, things like that. Now, from there, then they went to Broad Street, which was Four Corners of Law. I had a great-grand aunt that sat on there, and she was known as a flower lady. If you ever go down to the city market and you see a lady on a postcard, that's my great-grandma. She's right from around the corner from a little place called Snoughton, South Carolina. Her name is Dottie May. Now, the Four Corners of Law, anybody know what happens on the Four Corners of Law? Yeah, the jail and the mail. So, there's my historical point on Broad Street. Now, here on Boone Hall Plantation, they were known for 5 things that made them nice and wealthy. Y'all name them out, I'll count them up, tell you yes or no.
Indigo, cotton,
No, rice, bricks, almond,
pecans, lumber, lumber, yeah.
Indigo,
Lumber.
lumber. I was waiting on that lumber. Everybody wait till the last one to say lumber. So nobody heard rice. And I'm gonna tell y'all why we did not say rice is because, did you tell her? This water is brackish water. And I'm telling y'all can't tell the salt water to stay out one day and tell the fresh water to come in the next day. I didn't get it. So they planted in the little freshwater creeks around here to have enough rice for the people who lived on the plantation. But I want to explain to y'all how rice was actually processed in the state of South Carolina if you had enough fresh water. And what you did was you planted the rice in the fresh water. Then there was also a bridge that let the water in or let the water out so the rice does not drown or the rice does not drought. Then once the rice is ready, then you're gonna lay it out, you're gonna dry it. Once it's dry, you're gonna take it and you're gonna beat it. When you're beating the rice, you're trying to shake the shaft in the hull away from the rice. So when you put it in that basket, you see how big this basket is? Everybody see? When you put it in that basket, you want to shake it into the wind. And while you're shaking it into the wind, the rice falls back in the basket and everything else falls to the ground. Now, what I wanted to ask y'all is how much pounds of rice you think this basket will hold? The big basket. Who said 50? We're going up. Go up from 50. Less than 100? More than 50?
75.
More than 70, 80 pounds of rice in the basket, the big old rice pan of basket. And they would tote that basket on their head.
Lord.
They work that much.
They must be got a big head.
On their heads, 10, 15 miles, depending on how far they had to go. How many y'all gonna put your 8-pound child on your head walking around? Nobody, right? Nobody. But they would walk around with that basket on their heads, depending on how far they had to go. How old are you? How old are you? I use you. What's your name? What's your dad's name? Luke and Matthew, y'all the biblical people? Luke, Matthew, and Noah. So is this Isabella?
No, that's Riley.
Okay, so Luke and Matthew and Luke. You Matthew? That's Luke. You're Luke. He Matthew. So okay, Matthew and Luke. So you're Luke. He's Matthew. Oh, okay, I got it now. I got it. I promise y'all I got it. So Mr. Luke is 10 years old. Mr. Luke told his dad, he goes to his dad and he said, Dad, I like to become a man today. So his dad looked at him and he said, well, Luke, you would have to weave a basket that is watertight to become a man today. So he goes and he contemplates for about 2 or 3 days. Not contemplate, contemplate. He contemplates about 2 or 3 days. And he brings the basket back to his dad. He says, Dad, I think I did it. I think I become a man today. So his dad takes the basket down by the riverside and he puts it in the water to see if it holds water. If this basket holds water, Mr. Luke becomes a man today. What you think? He can become a man or not? His dad said, no. You have 3 more years. Wait till you about 21. Not 18, 21. Because see, at 18, you still ain't ready. Okay? You remember that. At least 21. All right. But that's how a little boy will become a man. He would have to weave a basket watertight. And that's the beginning of basket weaving because men were the first to actually weave baskets. Women would weave the smaller baskets for inside their houses and things. And then once the Emancipation Proclamation, 1865, June 19th, they were free. Then that's when the women started putting their basket stands on Highway 17, doing things in 1930, 31, and then your tourism started to buy them all. What's next? Oh, I forgot to tell y'all. He's 10 years old. He becomes a man today, right? He also could get married or have children if he wanted to. At 10. By the time he was 10 years old, he was already working in a brickyard for 5 to 6 years. So he already has work experience. And they don't live that very long as being slaves working from country to country. If they didn't live very long, that's because they had the herbs and the remedies to keep them alive.
What was that age?
50, 60. By the time you're there, you broke down and woke up. You know? My grandmother was a mother at the age of 12. By the time she was 15, she was a married woman. By the time she was 32, she had about 9 headed kids. 3 of them passed away. We didn't have doctors, we had midwives. They only know how to have babies, but they didn't know how to bring them out. Y'all know what I mean. And now I'm gonna leave this time for any questions you may have. Oh, the Gullah Bible, y'all want me to read something out this? Now I'm gonna read out this Bible. Don't y'all tell me y'all ain't understand me.
Mom, I got a good question. So, where did the first basket stand design come from?
The basket stand design? Basket stands came from old wood and stuff that they had from the old wooden houses that they had, and they just take the board and put them on the side and roll them to a little bulk stand that they made up. But the stands that they have today, the town of Mount Pleasant actually rebuilt them because they redid the roads. So it's a little harder to get into the stands that they have now than it was back then. Okay, here's the New Gullah. This is the Gullah Bible, so this is the New Testament. All right, y'all ready? Y'all listening? Who that mouse hunter? The wonk. what God sends, and I'ma stand plenty tank. Let him wake straight and do good, and he must die be proud. He ought to do all things with sense when he live like that. That one show that he got good sense and he understand. All right, here's the English version. Who is a wise man and a doer with knowledge amongst you? Let him stew out of a good conversation his works and meekness of wisdom. Y'all all lost it. But that's the Gullah Bible, and you're not gonna, if you don't know Gullah, you're not gonna understand what it says. But I'm gonna leave this time for your questions.
Do your children speak the language?
Ask them. What you said the other day? Tell them how you sing. Go ahead.
No, that's how y'all talk.
Tell them what you said the other day, what the guy said.
What guy?
The one about Charleston.
Oh, this is how he talk. He was like, I from Charleston.
Yes.
Do the different designs on the baskets have different meanings, or are they just different designs based off of like the artist, I guess?
Most of the time it's based off the artist, and we also use some of the older patterns from our ancestors. Yeah. This will be a rice panner basket. Rice panner is an older design. This is an old-fashioned bread basket. That's an older design. Now this is a marriage basket. Two-loop marriage basket with the pine nuts. I love you, I love me not. Now it's something that I would create. Modern bread baskets. So it all depends on the artist. Yes.
Was your family always in this area?
My family. Well, now they're all over.
Okay.
I mean, if you look at asking about the Gullah heritage and community right now, it's over 200,000 of us all over the world. Now, if we college knives, see that's a new word, y'all. That's when you go to college and you forget where you come from. Yeah, I got the definition too. But when you be college knives, that means that you forgot where you came from, so you don't
Identify.
identify with your people anymore.
Right. You kind of become the world. Like,
You let the world consume you.
Right.
Yes.
What percentage of people around here still speak the language?
Let me take you in the country. Well, I mean, if you was to walk up on me and my family and we were just having like a conversation, we'd be talking and you wouldn't understand our thing. You would think you need to call 911. I mean, it's like, and we're talking over each other, but we're understanding each other. And it sounds like,
I don't
or
talk
it
like
feels
that.
like we're actually having an argument.
Do you
but it's not
understand
an
what they're saying?
Not all the time.
Okay.
See, they could be talking about you and you could be in trouble.
And you'd never know it.
How did that language come about? Because I'm sure when the slaves come over here, it wasn't like.
Because we had to understand each other. Remember I told you it was over our
Nice.
family?
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have to know him over there. How many need to know what we talk about? Him over there. That's what they call them. Master? Master, you need to know? Not master, master. M-A-S-S-E. Master. Anybody else?
So is that culture disappearing, going to the wayside because?
We're trying to bring it back. My cousin, Dr. Jessica Berry, my friends at Poor and Cato, if you look them up, their Kichi experience. Dr. Berry is Dr. Berry's Gullah, she has her own book. But just look her up. If y'all look all these names up, you will see we're bringing it all back. We're teaching. We're explaining things. If you look on Moonhall Plantation, I'm sure I'm there somewhere. I'm actually, my son is actually videotaping me for YouTube videos so that I can explain the Gullah heritage and keep it going. They can't hear you.
In St. Helena in Beaufort County, is an island off of Beaufort. They have a huge community, and also they're not allowing people to come onto the land to purchase land. It's only people currently who have had heritage and the land was passed down.
What you say, Mama? She being secretive over here. She talking real low, I can't.
Queen Quet?
Yeah, Queen Quet is another one you can look up.
Which one?
Queen Quet. Queen Quetta. She's on Rupert, right? Yeah. If you want to look up anybody with herbal stuff, you can look up Dr. Budget. I'm just joking, y'all, but Dr. Buzzard was one of the people in Rupert that everybody would scare people with. I'm called Dr. Buzzard on you. Remember that?
I have a question. What about the blue bottles?
The blue bottles that you might see that they call it the tree, it's supposed to be take away the spirits. If you see any houses that are painted blue, hunt blue? It's called hunt. There's a blue tint to it. If you see any older houses, a wooden house, and they're painted blue, that was to keep the bad spirits out also. It's good to know, right? Yeah, the blue trees, I know everybody says, oh, it's so pretty, let me put it in my yard, they ain't even know what it's for. Anybody else?
Thank you.
You good? Alright, here's your last song, hold on. When the saints go marching in, when the saints go marching in, oh Lord, I want to be in that number. When the saints go marching in, when the saints go marching in, when the saints go marching in, oh Lord, I want to be in that number. When the saints go marching in. That's it, you guys. Enjoy the rest of the plantation.
Yeah.